Twin Towers originally, it was World Trade Center number 2. How number 2 opened before number 1, I couldn't tell you, I don't know, but it was the North Tower, all right? And they opened that one to the public, I guess it was 1972, at 107 stories. The other one, they opened about 6 months later during the summertime of 73. It also had 107 stories. That was the South Tower. On the 107th floor of the South Tower, which is the top level, you know what I'm talking? That was the observation deck. In the North Tower, the first one that opened, that was the one that had a restaurant later on. They opened up a restaurant called Windows of the World. And you could see most of Manhattan on a clear day, clear night. You know what I'm talking? So that was the 2 main buildings. That was the ones the planes flew into, you know? But there was 5 other buildings, smaller buildings too. I remember Manhattan, it was a very, very clear day. It was a beautiful day.
People walking in both directions and, you know, having their coffee and cake and whatever.
It was just a nice, clear day that day.
In general, you know, you don't have too many planes flying over Manhattan. And this one, I mean, you could tell something was wrong because he was just flying too low. So everybody thought that it was either a mechanical problem with the plane, or they was thinking that maybe a pilot error.
I didn't think anything about a terrorist attack at the moment.
We were just setting up for a morning show that we were supposed to do, and they said that Tower 1 was hit by a plane.
The first plane that hit, that happened a little bit before 9 o'clock. That was probably maybe 8:45 in the morning. The plane itself was embedded in the building. I'm going to take a guess and say right around maybe the 90th floor, 92nd floor. It was about 15 floors from the top, you know what I mean? And that was in the North Tower. The first plane hit the North Tower on the north side of the building.
And it's taking in a lot of smoke, and flames were coming out. And I just simply said again and again, get out of the building, get out of the building.
It looked like part of the plane you couldn't see. The part that went through into the building, you know? But the rest of the plane was intact. You know? It was like somebody did special effects, took a half a plane and crazy glued it onto a building. You saw billowing smoke, you know? And that was going straight up in the air. But I don't think anybody really thought that the building was going to come down or anything like that. The second one hit about 5 after 9. So that was about 20 minutes apart, you know. But I saw the second plane circle around and hit the second building, which was the Twin Towers South building, and that hit on the south side. So 2 totally different areas, 2 different aircrafts. That was unbelievable. Everybody knew. When that second plane hit, everybody knew.
When the second plane hit, I knew that it not only had to be a terrorist attack, but I also knew that it could have been a premeditated thing.
Well, after the second tower, I wasn't allowed out of the building. I couldn't leave to go home, so there was a lot of chaos because mass transit shut down.
The North Tower that was hit earlier before 9 o'clock, that one didn't collapse till about 10:30. But the South Tower that was hit a little bit after 9 o'clock collapsed about 10 o'clock. So the South Tower went down about a half an hour before.
This woman was standing next to us. She started to yell as she was running, and we looked at what she was trying to yell at, what she was yelling at, and we saw this big tsunami of smoke coming right at us.
Manhattan was just covered with soot and smoke and ash, a lot of ash, you know what I'm talking? And people was making their way up Broadway. They were walking up Broadway, and they were crossing the bridge by foot, you know, and to get into Brooklyn and get out of Manhattan because of what was going on. I mean, everybody was going crazy. They were scared. I mean, you can't blame anybody for being scared, you know. Poor people had a choice of, you know, either burning to death or dying of smoke inhalation, or jumping out 95 stories out of a window, you know. And they chose, some of them chose to jump, and you know, I'm sure there was people right there that saw that.
Just the way those Twin Towers came down like an accordion. Because if those Twin Towers had come down any other way than straight down, more than 3,000 people would have been killed.
That's a horrible, the whole thing is a horrible thing. Over 3,000 people died because of these terrorists. You couldn't do enough memorials in my mind and in my heart for the people who lost their lives there that day. And the people who survived, the police, the Giuliani, the firefighters, everybody who was there and whatnot. Every one of those is a genuine bona fide hero, you know? Are they entitled to money? Yeah, they really are. That was their job. They knew they're coming in. But bottom line is they were entitled to it. It takes a special type of person, like these firemen, to go through rubble and take out body parts and try and identify them. It takes a special type of human being. These are not New York's finest, and these are not the United States' finest. These are the world's finest. These are the world's finest. It changed the face of Manhattan for a long, long time because people were different. Now people, where they always walked along and they didn't care, and it was basically hustle bustle, and nobody looked at the guy walking next to him. Well, guess what? Things was different.
I want to practice life, you know, and but there are people that want to just practice to kill people.
We don't have the same freedom that we used to have after 9/11.
I tell you, I travel a lot, and I traveled to Europe, you know, quite often and whatnot. And I didn't go for a lot of years. It's like somebody loses a loved one, you know. You can't talk about it for a day. You can't talk about it for 6 months and whatnot. But you can talk about it 5 years later. There was a lot of people that lost family in those towers. I'm not saying don't have a mosque. Have all the mosques you want, you know. Have it a mile away. Don't have it right there. To me, I think it's a great idea that they're rebuilding it because you know what? It gives the world a message. It says, you know what? You gave it your best shot and whatnot. You killed 3,000 of our citizens, and there's nothing we can do about that. But you're not going to make us run scared. You're not going to ruin our lives. You know, we're not a bunch of scared rabbits. We're the United States of America, and we do our own thing over here, and we're going to rebuild, and it's going to be as good or better than it was, and unfortunately, God rest their souls, we can't bring the 3,000 people back. But you know what? We're also not going to run from you. We ain't afraid of you. So that's our message.